Good afternoon and welcome to Specialized Canada's Facebook Live launch of the Diverge and the Diverge Evo. My name is Andrew McGregor and I'm the SBCU Professor for Canada. When people think of Specialized, they immediately think of bikes, which is great because we do make some amazing bikes. But we also have a whole bunch of different other equipment, especially for gravel offerings this year. We have, first and foremost, the Recon shoe with its cool new sole that has a nice flexible toe, so it's great for on or off the bike. We have all the RBX adventure clothing with more pockets and more storage than you'll ever thought possible. From there we have our Terra wheels, road bike light, mountain bike stiff, and then we're going to finish up with 5 or 6 different tread style and tires for every conceivable road and off-road application. Today, we're going to hear what some of our athletes think of the new bike, and then we're also going to go over some of the features and benefits of the bike itself, and then we're going to finish up with some Q&A. So, our first rider we're going to hear from is a 3-time Canadian cyclocross champion, 2-time Pan American cyclocross champion. She came in 3rd overall in the UCI rankings for cyclocross in the 2019-2020 season, and she just missed winning out the inaugural e-mountain bike world championships. I'm happy to introduce to you Magali Rochette.
Thank you, Andrew. So in the last few days, I've been lucky enough to try the new Specialized Diverge, and it's awesome. Since I got my first Diverge last year, that's the bike I've been riding the most, maybe 80% of the time. I ride it on trails, on mountain bike trails, on touring, gravel, and even intervals. But the new one, it's even more special. It has so many new features and that are super exciting, but the one that's the most exciting to me, it's the fact that the new Future Shock, it's lockable. So when I'm doing intervals, for example, I can lock it and be more aggressive when sprinting, and then unlock it when I hit the trails and want a smooth bike again. So it's a really awesome bike, and I'm super stoked to be riding it more in the next few days. Back to you, Andrew.
Thanks, Magali, for the great insight on how you use the Future Shock on your new bike. Our next athlete took the long way around to get into cycling, as she was on the national short track speed skating team before switching to crit racing. She won Le Mardi la Chine 4 times, the Red Hook Crit Series overall in 2018, and most recently Raph has switched over to winning the Grand Euro in Scotland and the big red gravel race. Raph, thanks for joining us today. So what do you think of the brand new Diverge?
Salut Andrew! Aujourd'hui, j'ai eu la chance d'essayer le nouveau Diverge. Ouh là là, super le fun à rider, vraiment versatile, vraiment agile sur tous les terrains, très amusant, super le fun à rider. Puis un petit aspect que j'ai super aimé aussi, c'est la SWAT box. Vraiment pratique pour vrai. Tu peux mettre ta pompe de CO2, tes tubes, puis bien sûr tes collations, puisque tu as toujours faim en ridant. Alors un gros merci et je te relance l'appareil, Andrew.
Merci, Raph. All right, let's take a quick peek at some of the details of the bike. So I'm going to quickly start a presentation here, and then we'll get to some Q&A right after that. Alrighty. Diverge, the ultimate getaway vehicle. What do we mean by that? Do we mean getting away from your kids while you're stuck in the house? Does it mean getting off the front of a Dirty Kansas race? Does it mean just getting away from the cars? Does it mean getting away from the trail that you've been riding forever? It really does mean all those things. And the new Diverge is going to give you the ability to do that. Some of the key traits that we are working with here is we wanted to give the bike more control, or you more control of the bike, more confidence in riding at higher speeds off-road, and then just increasing the speed of the bike altogether. One thing we call about control is the new Future Shock 2.0. This technology was developed for the Paris-Roubaix race, so it was the hell of the north. It's one of the hardest bike races in the world, and on some pretty uncompromising terrain. The Future Shock is hydraulically damped and adjustable, so you can tune it into exactly the style and the terrain you're riding on. From there, we changed the geometry a little bit, and if you think about it, how do you know, or how do we determine what's the right geometry? Well, we make geometry mules like you'd see on the left-hand side, where we're able to actually change the head tube length, we're able to change the top tube length, change the head tube angle, and then ride the bike. And then once we found a setup that we like, we'll actually cut up a bike overwrap it, and then ride it just to make sure it actually worked out. So in this case, with the brand new bike, we did a few things. We've made the front of the bike longer so we can run shorter stems and keep everything kind of like what we did with the Epic to make the bike roll faster and have better control. We slackened the head tube angle, but we also customized the rake and the trail so we didn't lose any of that really nice nimble feel of the bike. We just made it much more capable and much more predictable at speed off-road. We've actually raised the bottom bracket by about 6 millimeters, but in doing so, we're still one of the lowest on the market. Another big thing we did this year is we have a huge tire clearance. I mean, it's massive what we've done. So with a 700C tire, you can go up to a size 47 millimeter width tire. With a 650 wheel tire, you can go up to a 2.1. Fender clearance with a 42 mil tire. That's unheard of. One of the cool ways we did it is, if you look at the chainstay in the picture here, instead of having a round chainstay, we actually made a solid carbon beam, which keeps all the strength where it needs to be, but allows you to put a massive tire in there. Some of the other cool things we've done with this bike, on comp and above in carbon, you're going to have internal SWAT. So what we've been giving the mountain bikers for years, now the gravel guys get. So you're going to be able to, not ride with that backpack. Maybe put a bit more food in there. Maybe, put your tools in there. Put your tubes and your CO2s in there and all that stuff. So it's out of the way, and so you can either add more hydration to your bike or just not ride with the backpack. So it's super awesome. Other thing we did with this bike, which is crazy. So all that stuff that we did, and it comes in under 1,000 grams in the frame. It is rider first engineered, just like our S-Works Tarmacs are and our S-Works Roubaix are. So this bike is truly a race steed that just does all sorts of other stuff as well. So race-inspired geometry, Future Shock 2.0, class-leading weight, and race-winning tires. All of these things roll together to make this one of the fastest off-road bikes we've made. So another couple just little added things here. So sizing in certain bikes from size 44 all the way up to 64. Lots of hard points to mount hydration and or bags, and then plug-and-play fender compatibility if you want to put fenders on the bike. Here's a quick chart. I'm not going to keep it up here. You can take a look on YouTube afterwards, but it gives you an idea of what the carbon and the E5 frames and what the different features of each one of those frames has. All right, and then another bike we want to talk about. This is the Diverge Evo. So for those people who really want to get after it, we decided to make a flat barred version of this bike just to have a bit more fun. It only comes in aluminum, so E5. It'll come stock with our brand new rhombus tire, which we'll talk about later, and it does come dropper post already. The Geo is a little bit different, so it's actually made it even longer. We lowered the bottom bracket, and we opened up the head tube a little bit to make this bike even more capable at speed off-road. Here's some of the colorways that are going to be available to you. And with that, let's go back to question and answer. Thanks a lot, guys, and let's start asking some questions. Okay, so now that we've gone over some of the details of the bikes, let's get into some of the questions you guys might have. I might not have all the answers right now, but I will get them for you, and then we'll put them up on the comment section or direct message, however it's going to work. All right, so first question, Steph.
Can you add fenders to this bike for commuting?
Oh, absolutely. So I did mention it quickly during the video, but we'll go over it again. So I'm going to bring the camera over here just so you guys can get a better look at this. Down on the back, on the drop outs in the back, you can see there's two threaded inserts here. There's a threaded insert up here, so you're going to be able to mount your rear fender. And if you go to the front of the bike, we have what's called plug-and-play fenders. And if you look right on the back of the fork, right here, there are these two neat little holes. You just put the fork blades in there, bolted in, and then of course there's another bolt right here to supply it. So fenders are not a problem at all on your brand new Diverge. Next question, please.
My old Diverge bike came with a CGR seat post to make it more comfortable. Why doesn't this one have it?
Oh, that's an awesome question. So when the engineers looked at this bike, what we decided was we learned a lot doing with the brand new Roubaix. And so with the new Terra seat post and the way the frame's put together, we still get enough vertical compliance. In fact, we get the same amount of vertical compliance than we had at the CGR post, but this is considerably lighter. Next question.
What are the top 2 bolts for?
Oh, okay. So gravel riding usually means you're going to be kind of out of the way, or you might be going on a longer ride and people want to carry some extra food. So even with your SWAT box and the SWAT pockets you have in your apparel, some people like having a bag on the top. Now these bags usually have straps on that hold them onto the bike, and it would actually interfere with the Future Shock boot. So what we've done is we've given you 2 bolts so you can actually get a bolt-on bag. Thanks for the question. Next one.
Which models come with the SWAT bags?
Okay, so all carbon models will have a SWAT box on them, or sorry, all comp and above, and all of the models will come with a bag. So if we just open this up, we just pull the SWAT bag right out of it. So depending on the model and size of the bike, you'll either get the smaller bag or the larger version of the bag. Anything else? All right. If you guys have more questions or think of stuff during the day, feel free to just stay on this page, write the questions down. I'll be happy to answer everything that I can for you. We are going to be doing more videos over the next 2 or 3 days, focusing on the gravel equipment we have, whether it's the shoes, the tires, the wheels, or the apparel. They're going to be posted on our Facebook page, and I believe, on our Facebook page. So thanks for all the great questions. If you're interested in seeing the bike, just contact your Specialized retailer. Now, given the challenges we're facing today, it's possible that the local store might not have all the models available right now, but understand we're doing the best that we can to send them out as quickly as we can. Thanks again for spending some time with us, and enjoy your day.